a while ago, there was like this game called Light of Motiram that had a trailer release and was a game being made by Tencent, basically a giant conglomerate, effectively. And the game itself featured large dinosaur monsters and people hacking and slashing them up. Now, sure enough, people would automatically make some comparisons to Horizon, for example. And I looked at the trailer myself, sat there when it was first announced, and I thought to myself, wow, this looks way too much like Horizon. And keeping in mind, I have not played a Horizon game, but I do have an idea of what a Horizon game would look like. And this looks weirdly close. Having people in an attire you would expect to see from like more sort of Stone Age kind of, maybe not really Stone Age, but like people who would live in tribes, that sort of tribal attire, and giant robot monsters all over the place in either deserty, snowy, or green pastures, so to speak. That's kind of what you'd expect to see from Horizon. So sure enough, SIE, or Sony Interactive Entertainment, is actually filing a lawsuit against Tencent, calling Light of Motiram a Horizon clone. And supposedly, according to this, well, I say this like nothing has been confirmed, the subtitle here, apparently Sony was supposed to work with Tencent on a Horizon collaboration. So maybe potentially what's happened is that Tencent took some of the ideas from that and turned it into their own thing. But because it looks oddly similar, it seems like, it seems way too close to what you would expect a Horizon game to look like. So, Sony Interactive Entertainment, or SIE, has filed a lawsuit against Tencent in California federal court, alleging that the company ripped off its Horizon series of video games with the November 2024 announced title Light of Motiram. So it's been a good chunk of time. I'm recording this on July of 2025, so if you really take that into account, that's about 8-9 months later, according to a Reuters report. So the lawsuit describes Light of Motiram as a Slavish clone featuring identical gameplay, story themes, and artistic elements to Horizon, as well as other similarities. Sony Interactive Entertainment, or SIE, also said that the lawsuit, it declined an offer from Tencent to collaborate on a new Horizon game in 2024, before Tencent announced Light of Motiram. So potentially, Tencent already had something in the works. They wanted to partner with Sony, and effectively just ended up releasing it out anyways, albeit trying to make it look as kind of generic as possible, because to an extent, the Horizon series does look kind of generic if you don't have Aloy's face plastered all over the face. Well, all over the place is what I meant to say, with her like very generic look that she's kind of got going on. But I mean, who's to judge at this point? According to the lawsuit, journalists have described Light of Motiram as a knockoff of Horizon, and sure enough, it's like I said, even I was kind of thinking a similar thing, even though I've never played Horizon. Including one who called the game Horizon Zero Originality. Ugh. Okay, I mean, that I wouldn't necessarily say Horizon Zero Dawn is original in well, the concept seems original until you look at everything, and then everything looks as bland as hell, but I mean, I digress. So, despite the lawsuit, SIE Shanghai posted on the social media channels in November 2024 that Light of Motiram would also be released for PS5, suggesting that the company had no issue with the game's similarities to the Horizon series, while Weibo and Bilibili posts have since been removed, and the Weibo post still is accessible via archive.org. That's interesting. So then why would Sony even be suing Tencent in that case? Because they said that, so they're alleging that the company ripped off its Horizon series, yet down here when they actually posted, SIE Shanghai posted on its social media channel that the game would be releasing for PS5, suggesting the company had no issue with the game's similarities. Okay, maybe that's like diving in a little bit too much, since keeping in mind we can go back and see the Weibo post anyway, because it was archived before it was removed. So I suppose it's also interesting to see how that goes. But I really do wonder, like, is it because this game looks way too similar to Horizon, or does Horizon look so generic that you kind of start making those comparisons? Because if it weren't for the robot monster aesthetic, you could think of Horizon as basically a Monster Hunter clone in some ways. think about it for a moment. Well, I don't know about it from a gameplay perspective because, like I said, I haven't played it. But just like if these monsters, if these robot dinosaurs were technically made out of flesh and bone and had some interesting look or designs and with unpronounceable names, you could probably say that it just tries to take the essence of what a Monster Hunter game feels like or looks like in that sort of vibe, art style, and just the overall look. I feel like Monster Hunter has been around for significantly longer, and so it's easier to kind of look at other, and even then, Monster Hunter clones, like, what have we got? Freedom Wars, we've got Soul Sacrifice. These sorts of games have their own vibe and style going on, and then when we look at something like God Eater, gameplay wise, that's more for like the JRPG crowd because they lean more into stats and lead into like bullet design, for example, where you can create the type of bullets that you want and have them act in different ways and things like that. So there is that part of it too. I don't know. I guess it's really, really difficult to see how this lawsuit could possibly go because we don't have a lot of legal, precedents rather regarding like just because it looks incredibly similar or looks like a clone, is there enough similar to actually be able to get something out of it? Is it possible to win the case? Or is there some other alternative motivation around how all of this works? Who knows? I'm not some sort of law guy, and on top of that, so I say law guy, I'm no lawyer. I'm just kind of looking at this from a distance, and to me, Horizon looks pretty bland to the point where, because of Light of Motiram, it kind of looks similar enough to me where I'm like, I don't care about either thing. I mean, sure, I'll end up playing Horizon at some point because that came from Sony. So I do expect there to be some level of quality. Light of Motiram, on the other hand, I don't expect there to be quality because it's coming from Tencent, a giant Chinese conglomerate. So maybe take that for whatever it's worth. But I'm interested to hear what you guys have to say about this. Let me know in the comments below. What do you think about this whole situation? How do you guys feel about Horizon? That's probably the first thing, because, I could probably, kick Horizon in the shins a few more times. But also, what do you think about the comparison between Horizon and Light of Motiram? Do you think there's actually, some sort of weight there? Because I do think there is, just because Horizon can look incredibly bland sometimes. But maybe that's just me. And maybe is there any sort of weight to comparing Horizon with the Monster Hunter series? From a gameplay perspective, especially if you've played Horizon, because I can't speak too much into that. But with all that being said, however, let me know what you guys think about all of those things that I mentioned in the comments below. Like the video if you liked it, subscribe to the channel. I'm aiming for 500 subs by the end of the year. With all that being said, I do upload every day, so I'll see you guys tomorrow.